This is Rakieem Fox, and today we're going to be talking about more things happening in the video game news happening in the video game sphere right now. That's right, more news going on in the video game sphere right now. So, we got things that's happened in the past, present, some things that have passed on, but if you haven't heard it, that's new to you, right? Am I right? If you haven't heard it, it's news to you. So, we got all types of stuff to go through today. We got things about mods, things with adult-only rated content, fan games, news about things about games being acknowledging new characters that haven't been announced yet. Let's see, celebrating people's I think we got things celebrating people's birthdays. Probably don't quote me on that though. Just so much stuff we're going to talk about today. So besides all that, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. First thing we're going to talk about today is Netflix's Resident Evil, possibly the most abhorred live action adaptation yet. That's right. So Netflix's ability to produce content their users consider indescribably awful and unfaithful has not wavered as the Resident Evil show first trailer was utterly despised. Solely for the race swap, not solely for the race swaps and the unnecessary diversity, but also because it looks nothing like Resident Evil. Now, I understand that you might be trying to to have a Resident Evil without zombies. Now, I understand you might be trying to explain the politics and everything, but you gotta have your zombies. But from what I'm looking at, it looks nothing like Resident Evil. It's like it's just a show. They could have just called something else. Same thing with Halo. The producers and people behind the scenes on there said they know nothing about the books, the lore. They just took shots in the dark and just made in some crap that has nothing, that does not even feel like Halo, much less acts like Halo. But I digress. The complete hatred towards the trailer and its phenomenal amounts of dislikes, with the show performing even more poorly than the other Resident Evil live action movies. Trailers that use the quote-unquote He-Man meme song. I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to look into that later. It shows a lot of the screenshots, some of the video about what's going on and with the plot. It's the amount of YouTube hate, because Resident Evil was a very, very beloved series from the East to the West. A lot of people really liked survival horror. A lot of people have felt Capcom has tried to go back to survival horror. Personally, I don't think they have. It doesn't even really feel like Resident Evil, but I digress. That's enough about that. So, in other news, this one's adult-oriented. It's a game called Untitled Covenant Pale White Agent. It's a adults-only game where a girl named nun named Sister Alicia apparently gets divine power provides her by a goddess, and she goes into a forest to go vanquish orcs and all types of other demons and whatnot. So, you know the whole thing. From what I'm looking at, the video looks like the gameplay is pretty decent. It's your typical side-scrolling fare with the art. It's got some nice screenshots and whatnot. But this says the non-heroine can say her prayers in Unity Covenant Pale White Agent, a title that is available on Steam right now. And in other news on Steam, make sure that if you're on Steam in Japan or Steam anywhere across the world, if there's anything wrong with the Steam servers, make sure you activate play games in offline mode, because if you don't and something goes wrong, you're not going to have access to your games. But that's enough about that. In other news, furries, well, Kekimon to be more precise, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, invade girls for frontline. That's right. So, I personally think this is sensationalism, just because they're trying to, be on 4chan levels of trolling right here. Smartphone game, Fortnite might perhaps be performing poorly on a monetary level, as a new set of skins transfers some of the girls into furries, a rather cute idea that will likely draw the worst type of individuals to the game. Which I do see what they're going for, but I digress. I see what they're trying to say, but I just think this is just one giant ass shitpost. Girls such as the Takara Rev or the OTS-44 and the Mark 12, not even sure if I pronounced those right, made the transition into paws, fangs, and furs. A wealth of art was released for each new collectible. The art does look good. It's well done. A live 2D PV for one of the characters that made its way online. So I guess this event's happening right now, so if that's your thing, go and check it out. In other news, East meets West again. Elden Ring shatters sales forecast with 13.4 million shipped worldwide. Yes, very good. The business year has recently come to an end in Japan, so companies have begun sending out their financial reports, including Bandai Namco. which saw a massively successful year thanks to Elden Ring, shipping millions of copies to mailingless players worldwide. Now, a lot of people are trying to say, oh, we don't understand how this game, people, oh, the game's too hard. All games, you have people. The game is an old school gaming fanatic's wet dream. It doesn't hold your hand. You get to learn the meta. It's a great game. It's a true RPG. You get to create your own character. Create your own character from scratch. It's your character. You get to find the meta, find the best way to defeat the boss, what's the best tactics. It's an overall grand RPG experience. So for people to come out and try to say how this game is too hard, it's not too hard. You just suck at the game. I'm sorry. I'm not that great at Souls games, but I'm never going to say the game is too hard. No, just learn how to cheese it and find the best strategies that work for you to beat said boss. But continue. According to the latest financial report for the fiscal year ended March 31st, March 31st, 2022, global shipment numbers for Elden Ring have surpassed 13.4 million units. I haven't bought it yet. I've been playing Babylon's Fall. I intend to buy Elden Ring eventually, but I'm going to keep simping for this game right now. Bandai Namco's initial forecast from the open world action RPG was merely 4 million copies as a result. The company's full year forecast of 350 billion yen in the digital entertainment sales segment was surpassed with a total of over 378 billion yen. While Elden Ring managed to put up an impressive number for the business year, only 1.4 million copies were sold during the last quarter, so Bandai Namco is undoubtedly already thinking about its next cash cow now that the sales have finally cooled down for the From Software title. And I'm glad for From Software's success. I like From Software. I'm positive I've already said this before. I liked From Software games before they were cool. They made Tenchu. These games have always had the same mechanics. It's always been a true RPG player's dream, and people finally realize that after being spoiled by JRPG games. Not that anything's wrong with JRPG games. I understand preset characters and a certain design and everything. It's not very RPG-esque, but Final Fantasy comes to mind. Well, 7 mainly, and 8. Most of the modern ones. Very overrated. But in other news, Room Factory 5 sales and shipments surpassed 500,000 despite buggy nature. That's right. A horrendous onslaught of bugs, both major and minor, was apparently not enough to impede gullible players into purchasing Room Factory 5, as the game's total shipments and digital sales have surpassed 500,000, with many consumers apparently having no issue with being sold a shoddy product. Well, here's the thing, fella. Even though I see what they're trying to say in this article, I don't think nobody should buy a terribly buggy game. But that doesn't stop people from buying EA games, eat-ass games, EA and their bullshit, like my boy Vince Status says. But it also doesn't stop people from buying Bethesda games, mainly the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series games. Buggy as all hell, still buggy as all hell, and people still play the games saying jokes, oh, it's a feature and everything. But continuing, Room Factory 5 made its way on Nintendo Switch on May 20th, 2021 in Japan, and despite all the abysmal bugs, some of which making the title practically unplayable, developers were seemingly more intent on adding in okay, same-sex marriage. That's probably where the beef in this title is coming from, of them making trolling this whole thing. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's fantasy. Even though the title's gameplay experience suffered greatly from these bugs, it was reported Room Factory 5 still managed to rake in 500,000 digital sales and shipments as of March 2022. Conclusion, no doubt disappointing me, as such success will only convince developers that these horrible practices are acceptable. Well, I don't think Room Factory 5 is the one that's going to be that started. EA's already done it. Bethesda, ZeniMax, the parent company, has already done it. That's just how it is. Nobody wants to make a game. Now, you can't make a just release it and we'll try to fix it upon release, even though it takes money for them to actually get the money together to actually fix bugs and everything. But the news was unveiled during publisher Marvelous financial results report, and it wasn't disclosed how many of the shipments were sent to the U.S., though at least 127,968 physical copies were sold in Japan, as noted via sales charts from Famitsu. So, seems like I'm positive they're trolling. They had more of a big deal about that, but the same-sex thing, but that's just fantasy. I'm not tripping too much about that. If the whole thing about buggy games, there's tons of companies. I'm not saying that it's right that they released a buggy, unplayable game. That's just the nature of the beast now. People just release buggy, unfinished games, and if it makes no sales, we'll probably go back and fix it. That's just the belly of the beast of how shoddy game development now is today with all this NFT cryptocurrency bullshit. Everybody thinks it's a good idea to take over the industry, but that's another talking point for another time. In other news, Konosuba Fantastic Days teams up with Taru Kagaku no Railgun. So the Railgun series makes appearance in the Fantastic Days Konosuba RPG smartphone game. So teamed up with the index characters for an event, and now the characters from the Railgun are doing the same, offering up plenty of new cards with stylish art, and sure to have an Otaka clan for the collectibles. A lot of people are really fans of the two characters from Konosuba and Index series as well. I'm a Index / Railgun series as well. I'm a fan of them. I haven't really watched them. I just seen clips of them because I am too busy to be even have enough time to sit down and enjoy or binge watch anime. I prefer just to watch the important parts and understand the synapses of the plot. That's how I've been doing it lately. The plot themselves. It says the fully voiced collaboration has an original story as the characters from Konosuba interact with the Railgun characters, and a myriad of collectibles are also available. So, you get to see all the art, you get to see the collab and how they're all interacting with each other and everything. So, it says May 20th is when the collaboration comes to an end in Konosuba Fantastic Days. So, the collaboration ends on May 20th. Right now, I believe it's the 14th, so got a little bit more time to still get in there and try to get those cards collected and whatnot and enjoy it for what it is. But, on to other things, another news. Pokemon Legends Arceus captures 12.64 million worldwide sales. That's right. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I hope I'm saying that right, the most recent entry in the long-running creature collection series that slightly changed the format, has reportedly sold 12.64 million units worldwide. Sure to have some wondering if Nintendo might end up making larger deviations for future titles. A financial report from Nintendo has confirmed the impressive sales. This in part of a noticeable upward trend set when Nintendo announced that 6.5 million copies were sold within its first week alone. That's right. Which is good because Pokemon is a very popular game. Everybody likes it. A lot of people been getting on Pokemon saying that, they're reusing models and doing all this and that. They're not updating things. It's not being progressive enough. Look, it's Pokemon. They just want you to collect monsters. And how much are you going to be able to update the graphics? Saying, they use the same models. Well, it's great that you noticed that, but it's crazy how people had a bigger outcry towards Game Freak and Nintendo for that. But when EA does it, nobody bat an eye. I digress, however. The report also confirmed, when I'm talking about when EA did that with FIFA, they literally, on the Nintendo Switch, released a previous a previous release version of FIFA. I think it was, the 2018 version? And this is a while ago, but I'm just pointing out how, a while ago, but I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy when people try to have outrage towards EA. Nobody bats an eye, but when it's Nintendo or somebody from the East, it's just ridiculous. The report also confirms that Pokemon Legends Arceus sold over 11.4 million copies worldwide within a 10-week period. That's impressive. Very impressive. The sales seem to match the overall enthusiasm many have for Pokemon Legends, as it took the game in a different direction and let players explore vast expanses and catch Pokemon without battle, though they are susceptible to being knocked out by the aforementioned critters. You see? That goes on like, forget trying to fight them, I want to be pacifist. But you can get knocked out. Now, it would be allowing them to be killed be a little too much, even though it was already implied in the manga and some of the previous games in Japan. I don't think that's a stretch, but you know how people are. Pokemon is a kid's game, as most people would tell you. But enough of the Nintendo for now. We'll get back to them in a minute. Another good news dealing with Nintendo, but not right now. We're, actually, We're going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to talk about this other news that's going on in Nintendo right now. Might as well. Nintendo Switch sells 107.65 million units in 5 years. That's right. Nintendo has revealed in the latest financial results that the Nintendo Switch family of consoles has sold over 107.65 million units in total hardware sales in addition to 822.18 million units in software sales since the console's launch in March 2017. Damn, that's a while ago. Hell, I still haven't even bought the Switch yet either. But that's a while ago. So, the updated sales numbers for the Nintendo Switch and in comparison to other consoles. So, according to I guess they're comparing that to the 3DS and the Wii U. It actually, I believe it outdid both of them because it is technically a handheld slash console. So that's probably was one of the big selling points of it. According to the largest sales figures from Famitsu, the Nintendo Switch has sold close to 20 million units in Japan alone. That's very, very good. The total for the fiscal year in 20 is 23.6 million Switch consoles sold, just enough to meet its twice revised forecast of 23 million. Nintendo originally started with a prediction of 25.5 million units, which was lowered to 24 million before eventually selling for 23 million by the end of the business year. Last quarter, the Nintendo Switch passed the original PlayStation lifetime sales of 102.49 million units to make it the fifth best-selling console of all time, right behind the fourth, the PlayStation 4 at 116.9 million. The original PlayStation 2 still remains the best seller at roughly 155 million units, followed by Nintendo's DS with 154.2 million, and the Game Boy and Game Boy Color ranked third with 18.69 million units sold. The updated list of top-selling Nintendo Switch titles. So you got your Mario Kart Deluxe, your Animal Crossing, your Super Smash Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, another Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Party, more Pokemon, and Ring Fit Adventure. So, Nintendo has some fire titles. They got more fire titles coming in. It's a great console. I wish them all the more success. Whatever crazy ass new idea they're going to come out with, that everybody's going to say gimmicky, but then it still outsells all the other consoles because it's trying something new. But in other news, and I believe this is another smartphone game. No, actually, it's not a smartphone game. It's about the new Dragon Ball Super superhero. Oh, they couldn't think of a better title than that. Movie coming westward. That's right. The Dragon Ball Super series has continued as a new movie focused on superheroes is set to come in the future by way of Dragon Ball superheroes, with the resurrection of the Red Ribbon Army and the construction of highly powerful androids being the main premise. Now, before I continue reading this, Dragon Ball as a whole is not as good as it used to be to me. It was a shonen title. It was very adult-oriented, all types of adult themes, be it to all types of messed up stuff happening, blood, gore, cuss words, and everything. Now, Dragon Ball is literally turned into a freaking comic book. It plays it too damn safe. It's like, okay, when it gets to like the final fight scenes and everyone, when it came to that tournament, blah, blah, that was happening in Dragon Ball Super recently, I actually enjoyed watching the last fight scene. It was very flashy, it was good. It was surprising to see Frieza and Goku team up. But outside of that, I just do not care for the Super series. Oh boy. I digress. The English subtitle trailer was that employs some questionable 3D CG. Okay, I don't know why they would use that, but hey, they do. The Funimation, I guess, is trying to try something new. Whatever, because, apparently everybody wants to try to get away from hand-drawn animation and switch to 3D. If they were going to do that, they should have just hired Arc Systems to do all the animation in, because them guys have already mastered the whole making 3D animation looking like 2D animation thing. So I would think that if I was going to do that, those are the people I would hire to do it. But to continue, the Dragon Ball Super superhero film is set to arrive this summer. Not looking forward to it. Don't really care. But in other news, it's another Euro game. So, Euro Neko Night, Charming Cat Girls, Whisper Saw. So you got, it's ASMR / Euro game. So, two precious cat girls with a rabid desire to get in the focus of the main character. So you got Nero Neko Night, an English translated work that's not only has the aforementioned cues, but also boosts ASMR-based simulation, which proves to be a nice change of pace for those looking for something new. Gonna plug the guys that you can also probably, the place you can also probably get this game on, a company called Just USA. I believe that this title was on there. I believe it's an English site. I'm not sure how bad their localization team is, but I haven't heard anything bad. They have Neko Night, so you can get it from there. Right now it's $16.99 if you pre-order it. So it's on, you're getting a discount. I'm not sure if they have gone the way of Manga Gamer, but that remains to be seen. Gonna plug them in there saying you can get the game at a discount right now. But back to the article. The new Kitsch has a handful of ASMR scenes, and the story revolves around the protagonist having to write about the first experience only to happen upon the two cat ladies. So you got an announcement video on YouTube that teases some of the There's some more content and a myriad of screenshots of the two heroines, even though I don't see how they could be called heroines when there's technically no villain in here. Unless you count the person that listens to this as the villain or the antagonist. So Neko Knight can be pre-ordered through Just USA Now. Just plug them, Just USA Now, and the Cat Girls can provide proper care come May 31st. So, you can get the game May 31st. You can pre-order it for $16.99 on Just, Jast, USA Now, right now. You get it on that site right now. Comes out May 31st, $16.99. But, in other news, going on to final installment. What is it? Final installment 16. So, final installment 16 producer Naki Yoshida scolded by American marketing team. Now, this I've read this article, and some of the people in the comments were talking about how that this article was petty and it wasn't that big of a deal. But hey, anything getting to talk about final installment, it's always news to me. It's been almost 2 years since Square Enix first unveiled a trailer for Final Fantasy 16, but fans of the series won't have to wait long, as producer Naoki Yoshida recently promised a new one is coming soon. That's right. The producer also mentioning briefly about being scolded by the Western team over his past comment of the game's progression. The latest comment from producer Yoshi P comes from Near Reincarnation and Final Fantasy 16 collaboration live stream, in which he also mentioned being scolded by the American marketing team for his recent remark about the Final Fantasy 16 entering its final stage of development. In an interview in UT Magazine with the subject not receiving any more details, Yoshida's statements regarding a new trailer for Final Fantasy 16. So, Yoshida was talking to somebody named Yusuke Sayato, so he said, "We did say that we released the new information in spring. Now I'm being told, how long is your damn spring?" Oh shit, that sounds like something that a Westerner say. I'm not going to read any further into that, but pretty much they're complaining about the game being released, and it looks like Naoki Yoshida, since it's a single player game, he wants to make sure the game's not bugged. That's reasonable. It's a single player experience. At least he's not trying to do Room Factory 5, which I'm not complaining, because, well, I guess it depends. Like, okay, do we want to release this game buggy? Do we have the budget to release this game like in this state? If so, go right ahead. If you make a good amount of money, come back and fix it. It's just the business model how it is. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. Square Enix previously promised more to come in spring 2022, but based on Naoki Yoshida's comments, it could end up being sometime around early summer instead. So, Final Fantasy 16 is right around the way. I haven't watched anything about it because I don't care, but in other news, let's see, it looks like we've got another, looks like we might got another, adults-oriented type. Oh, no, it's not an adult-oriented type. Well, it might as well be. So, observe every intimate moment of a college girl's life in Nozumi Kimi no Mirai. So, it's, it translates to the future you've been dreaming of for the West. Might be a good alternative for those with unhealthy tendencies, as the title has players assuming the role of a spirit that is able to observe the daily life of a college girl, additionally providing aid to her living situation in the process. Creepy. But, it's like what that one dude said on that, one movie. I can't remember the name of it right now. I think it was Crank. This is different and new and exciting. I digress. Details regarding gameplay and the premise of the story, which has players leading main heroine Sachi Yusi to a future of their choosing. So it talks about what it's about. It says you watch over the habits of the apartment as a spirit and led her to a bright future. So you're a spirit leading somebody to a bright future. You know, the story is the economy is in a recession, the job market is a fruitless tundra, and Sachi is a college student in the middle of it. So the story, you got, she's voiced by a parent somebody named Yuki Takeda. They bring up measurements and everything, college student, yada yada. System, search for useful items and draw Sachi to them with the sound of the bell. Sometimes Sachi will lower her guard. For some reason, her clothes, hairstyle, and everything be changed at your will. Okay. There are 20 total endings. Ooh, multiple different endings. Now, see, I always like when a game has multiple different endings. Total endings, each based on Sachi's final parameters. Can you lead her towards the future she's been dreaming of? Man, people can dream of a lot of stuff, but if you ain't willing to put in the work, then it could be a nightmare. So, the English trailer, which has the girl performing everyday tasks such as cleaning and exercising. So you got a trailer, you got screenshots about what the game's about. Overall, it's decent. It's not going to be anything groundbreaking. It's pretty unique for what it is. This said the Japanese version for those not obstructed by language barriers. Always a good thing to have. So it says Nazumi Kimu no Mirai will make its way exclusively to the Nintendo Switch via its eShop on May 19th. Nintendo being completely based, still being able to release games in its intended completed work, not being censored by an ethics department like Final Fantasy games or Soy needs bullshit because, oh, we're a family company. I guess they take that PlayStation family logo too seriously. But hey, you keep doing you, Sony. In other news, looks like we got some more news about Final Fantasy. Oh, I remember people whining about this on Twitter. So, somebody made a Final Fantasy 7 Tifa Lockhart statue imitates the memed Jacko pose. But somebody created a statue of her doing it against the sword buster, the buster sword that Cloud has. So, you got Tifa doing the Jacko pose against the sword. I know a lot of people on Twitter were whining about this because, you know, they ain't got nothing better to do. They're literally an autonomous AI at this freaking point. So it says the beautiful iconic Tifa of the widely represented Final Fantasy VII has yearned for attention as the woman has recreated. So somebody recreated the Jacko pose, which is performed by Jacko Valentine from the Guilty Gear series. Got some news on that in just a minute as well, since we're talking about Guilty Gear. By way of this figurine, effortlessly tasked for the fit made and sure to be deemed as rather unexpected, even if not officially licensed by Square Enix. So, got the 1/4 scale Jacko Tifa Lockhart figure was created by EA Studio, not Eat Ass Studio. This is actually a EA Studio I can get behind. And though this, pun fully intended, this Tifa is restrained by her more covered up remake attire than a woman's imitation of one of Jacko's memorable position will likely make up for this. So overall, the statue is really detailed. It's well done. It actually looks pretty cool. So 1/4 scale Jacko Tifa Lockhart statue releases. It's already been released. It was released on March 2023. So if you got some money, go ahead and buy this hunty. But in other news, since we just got through talking about Guilty Gear, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some other news having to do with Guilty Gear right now. So Guilty Gear Strive, Baiken wears a bunny suit to battle. So in the mod community, creative modders have once again taken aim at Guilty Gear Strive's one-arm beauty Baiken, dressing the proud warrior in a skinny bunny suit that will have opponents hoping for some form of accident. They got, from looking, you got video, you even got screenshots of what it'll look like. It just goes to show you, the mod community is pretty amazing. This is obviously something you can only get on the PC version, but this also reminds me of that incident that happened where a guy got banned from his PS5 account because he shared a picture of Baiken, and not a modded image, just the image that was in the base game, and Sony banned him from his account because of lewd imagery and everything. So the mod, the Bungie Girl, you saw, so it's actually pretty good. Just goes to show you I don't know how the hell, because I've seen how you have to do texturing to get that whole animation look for this mod, and just how they had the Arc system had to do it. Them motherfuckers some creative bastards. So the mod is available through the official page, page wherever this modder is at right now. It could be DeviantArt or something, I don't know. In other news, we're going to talk about another mod. Saifu mod summons, going back to Final Fantasy VII, Tifa Lockhart again. Summons Tifa Lockhart to issue a beatdown. That's right. So there's a mod out there on Saifu where you can play as Tifa Lockhart. So following trend of adding notable fist fighters to Saifu, Final Fantasy VII Supremely Buxom Tifa Lockhart follows Cammy White. Because there's going to be another arc I talk about. Well, I shouldn't have to talk about it because it's both mod. Apparently, there's the two Saifu mods where you can play as Tifa Lockhart, and there's one where you can play as Cammy White from Street Fighter fame to take on the botanist, as she is now playable through this new mod. A new mod makes Tifa Lockhart and Cammy White the protagonists of Saifu, and despite wearing her remake outfit, it boasts a high level of, alluring, blah, 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 because, how she was modeled in that game. So it's a video shows Tifa Lockhart stunning figure, and she's stunning and her stunning figure as she's stunning enemies while going around taking apart the enemies, because Saifu's actually a pretty decent brawler. It's It's a decent brawler. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not my cup of tea. It's not brutal enough, but it is a good brawler though. So you got screenshots, video. So it's the Tifa Lockhart mod is already available. So if you can find the stuff, I'm not gonna leave a link, but if you can find the page, go ahead and check that out. But let's see. I'm gonna go up here. I'm going to see if there's anything interesting about Cammy being in this mod. So, this is not content with applying, simply making Nier Automata to be a playable character. So, modders have apparently added Cammy White. I already said they added Cammy White from the Street Fighter series. So, as Cammy is known for martial arts skill, was added to Siren with the green leotard. Thankfully, not that censored version that everybody's trying to put in fighting games now because, if the FGC, we can't have nobody wearing a gymnast outfit. Really? Cammy White's character is really based off a gymnast leotard. So, what exactly are y'all getting at? By that logic, you can't have Zangief wearing his goddamn underwear anymore. Where's the red shirt he's supposed to have on? But people are a bunch of freaking sensitive pricks nowadays. If they are people to begin with. So Cammy's known for that. The fine ops for those who have different preferences regarding her appearance. A video shows Cammy in her fan favorite default leotard. I'm glad they put emphasis on that because I don't know why people make a big deal about that. Once again, great brawler, says Cass. So you can even play with her now in the classic leotard. You can even get her in her other alternate outfit as well if you want to play with that instead. So so you got the mod available and the games are available on PC. This is on PC. You ain't getting this on console unless you heavily modify it. Oh man. So enough about mods for now. We're probably gonna get back into some more, but we're gonna talk about another smartphone game thing going on right now. So Clandid X Higurashi no Nakakoro ni May event returns for second part. So, you got the smartphone game has undergone the second part of its Clandid collaboration, offering up another few cards for players to collect, which contain illustrations of the girls from each series borrowing each other's outfits. So, if you want to see a character from that series wearing the outfit from Clandid, hey, shit, you can get a card for that. So, the event's called Natsuni Tabisuru Otometachi is accessible and players can gather several different collectibles as well as experience a completely original story and get free currency by merely logging in. So you get daily login bonuses. Nice. The previous PV for the first part of the event. So this is for the first part. And remember, this is the second part of the collaboration. So, some of the cards for this event that can be gotten, the screenshots show. So, you got a video. You can see some of the screenshots of some of the photos you can actually get. Very nice illustrations. This was released yesterday. Wait a minute. No, not released yesterday. It says May 13th is when the event will come to a close. So, this event has actually been closed since yesterday. I'm just getting around to it because I finally got time to get around to doing a video about this. I digress, though. In other news, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 now highest grossing domestic video game movie. That's right. The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise looks to be in solid hands as far as the films go, as the sequel has become so successful that it is now deemed the highest grossing domestic video game movie of all time, demonstrating the benefits of listening to actual fans. Oh my god, that is such a novel concept. Oh, nobody should do that. I'm like, here's my thing. People want to talk about, well, the director and everybody should be able to do what they want to with these characters. I'm like, yes, when they have their own characters. If you have an established character with established lore, there's no reason for you to go around doing your own shit. I'm looking at I'm looking at the Star Wars movie when I think of this. You had a whole expanded universe that you could have worked with, and we're going to just throw it out and let our writers come up with stuff. Why? You're supposed to want to print money, and here you go with an agenda, but I digress. That's another rant. Paramount Pictures and Sega disclosed that the second film, oh my god, Paramount Pictures, ironic, generated 162.74 million US, which the first only made 148.97 million in the same region. The Uncharted film raked in 146.51 million in comparison. I don't know why anybody cared about that movie. The only reason why people even bothered to go see that movie is because, Tom Holland was in it. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Whoop-de-fucking-do, and the world keeps on spinning. As far as outside the U.S., the movie managed to make 168.9 million, putting it at 331.64 million total, which still leaves it behind such hits as the Warcraft film, Detective Pikachu, and Uncharted. As much as I can't stand Activision Blizzard right now, I thought the Warcraft movie was good. I liked it. Detective Pikachu, didn't care for it. Oh yes, I want to hear Ryan Reynolds as a Pokemon. Yeah, that sounds exciting. Uncharted, I don't understand. I was like, Tom Holland does not look like a Cuban, or he has any Cuban in his body, so why couldn't they just made that a CG movie? CG movie. They could have made it a CG movie. The movie has yet to be debuted in Japan, however, possibly allowing for the movie's income to elevate further when it becomes available August 19th. Yes. Just goes to show you, listen to the people. The fur fags aren't wrong all the damn time. They got it right with Sonic. I'm glad people had a bunch of outrage about the way it looked, and they complained about it, and it did good. I'm happy for it. So, in other news, Twitter users praise Sony for keeping Statue of Liberty despite years of censorship. So, rumors suggest Sony refused China's demand to remove the Statue of Liberty from the Spider-Man No Way Home movie for its release there has led to several Twitter users praising Sony's patriotism, even though the company has been carrying out censorship on video games for years. A report suggests that the censorist China requested the Statue of Liberty be removed from Spider-Man No Way Home so that it can be approved for release in the country, but Sony executive Tom Rothman refused. China then allegedly requested if Sony would at least reduce some of the more patriotic scenes, and Sony was said to have refused after considering the changes made still wouldn't ensure the film would be more made available in China. Rothman and another Sony executive, Tony Visekora, considered the increasing amount of anti-China sentiment in the West, and also just suggested that the Chinese market wasn't as profitable as it once was. Twitter users praised Sony for this righteous stance against censorship, but apparently such individuals are unaware of the fact that Sony has been outright censoring and denying the sale of games on their consoles for politically correct reasons. That's right, they're hypocrites. So, you can stand up for the statue, a stupid French statue, not being put in a freaking, well, to be fair, Spider-Man is a New Yorker. Now, having the Statue of Liberty in a Spider-Man film is kind of like not haram, so I can respect they stood up to China for that. I got no beef with that, but Sony are hypocrites. So, whether it be to covered up exposed bosoms in games with no actual nudity or turning red blood black, Sony has on a previous occasion explained they censor their games to protect the children's and for the sake of the Me Too movement. I'm going to say Mr. Me Too movement. Oh yeah, everybody meet Mr. Me Too. Mr. Me Too movement, even though there exists an age rating system. So, and that's the point. Why in the hell do we have an age rating system, but we're censoring things? What the system doesn't make sense. Sony were responsible for the censorship of a beloved Senran Kagura game. They butchered my boy. The guy who worked there doesn't even work there anymore. And Marvelous has been censoring the games. Now Senran Kagura was a super popular series now. Now it's not as popular as it once was. 7 even impossible. All the while touting about how they must cater to diversity. Why? Look, the only reason I could even remotely understand them catering to diversity is that the diversity people have stock in Sony. I got stock in Sony. You better be listening to me or I'll take my money away. The customer's not always right. Half these people that claim that they are customers don't even buy your product. It's like what happened at that one event in Chicago, or was it New York, where I guess St. Patty's Day was going on in March. It wasn't this year. It was some years ago. This was some years ago. Some of the diversity community showed up. It's like, we want to be part of it. It's about being diverse. See, here's the thing. They don't care about being part of your community. It's about the power that you did it and they feel like they've infiltrated. They get off on that stuff. However, I digress. Sony were responsible for, and it says catering diversity. An unfathomable amount of visual novels and games were censored on PlayStation consoles, almost always shaming sex appeal, and more developers even tried to hide features so as to bypass Sony's censorship. That's fucked up that you have to hide it. Like back then in the 90s where people were putting adult jokes in kids' cartoons. That shit was fucking wild. But if you're going to get a Sony, like say if there's a Japanese game and it's available on the Switch or PS4, I don't care how good the PS4 graphics allegedly are supposed to be, get it on the Switch or PC if PC's available. Do not get it on Sony. Sony does not deserve money. Does not deserve money? Hell, I'm surprised I even support them with any money, but as far as I go. However, Sony even apparently denied a reviewer a copy of one of their games due to their tone regarding their coverage. So, You denied somebody reviewing your game because of somebody's tone. So, you are all for freedom for the Statue of Liberty being in a Marvel movie, but you aren't for somebody's freedom of speech because of their tone. What the fuck? Sony also became even more highly loathed after they began reorganizing Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan studio, which led to the departure of several Japanese developers, both large and small. Countless individuals thanking Sony for standing up to the censors China, along with other comments. It's on Twitter. None of those people matter to me on there. I just like going over there to shitpost and talk shit. It's fun because there's all types of freaking NPCs over there. But that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Just a bunch of idiots over there defending this, but these are the same people who will congratulate Tone, or like, for example, what they did. Well, I think I might be coming on that story next. What they did to Demon Slayer when China censored, when it was the censored version of China of Demon Slayer, what they did over there. So, in other news, it looks like it's unironically about Sony. Sakura Succubus 5 censors CGs and dialogue on PS4 and PS5. So, we have a game called Sakura Succubus 5. The fifth entry into the Winged Cloud Spicy Hero will have some of the erotic allure censored on PS4 and PS5, as some of the CGs have been edited and the dialogue toned down. An announcement that will sadly be unsurprising to those familiar with Sony's dedication to the children's. Winged Cloud disclosed Sakura Succubus 5 will be censored on the Gamuzumi website. So, while the console ports won't have the intercourse the PC version possesses by the way of the R18 plus nude patch, the PS4 and PS5 games will be even less erotic due to the censorship. Sony is no stranger to censorship for the sake of the children's and the Mr. Me Too movement, so this forced censorship will hardly be that shocking. It's not shocking to me. A new trailer for the title meant to advertise the upcoming console ports, which I don't even see what was the point of them even doing that. How are you going to sell? The whole point to your adults only rated content is, if you're going to try to do a bastardized version of it, I don't see the reason of you wasting money and resources to get it put on there. Why not just put it on PC? Man, that is just weird. You know, good CGs, creative character designs, nice screenshots and illustrations. So, I'm implying the game is already out right now, so if you want to get it, I highly say get it on PC, don't get it on PS4, PS5, unless you like your, erotica softcore. In other news, Shin Megami Tensei dominates 3DS sales for the week of May 4th, 2022. As more fans of the beloved 3DS handheld system swarm to the eShop before its closure, clear favorites are being determined by the sales, with the franchise known for its dark and demonic influence taking half of the top 10 spots for the week of May 4th, but still failing to achieve the top spot. The 3DS sales ranking for the week of May 4th. You had Pokemon Crystal, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, Persona Q2, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux, Shin Megami Tensei 4, I'm assuming that's 4. Yeah, that's 4. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summer Hackers, Soul Hackers. Then you got Soul Hackers 2 coming out soon. So you got Persona Q, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker, and Pokemon Yellow. That was one of my favorites. So this game actually managed to get on the list as one of the managed to dominate it. That's great to hear. Shin Megami Tensei, Mega 10. Oh, I miss Mega 10 Online, man. I miss playing that game. But it's always good to see Shin Megami Tensei or Altis RPG games getting love. Always good to hear about that. So, in other news, virtual reality technology might soon simulate the sensation of a kiss. Taco or not, or one step closer to being able to passionately kiss their favorite animal maiden. As researchers have modified virtual reality headsets so that it can replicate the sensations of touch around the wearer's mouth, as well as in it for the other certain types of individual. Well, like that thing where they were doing with the virtual reality. Black Peon had in the video where that guy was at an anime expo humping Bubble Buddy. Research from Carnegie Mellon University Future interface groups accomplish this task without making use of the hardware that goes near their user's face, and whilst most VR headsets mostly focus on sight and sound, researchers have tried to upgrade the technology to include the sensation of touch, specifically with the mouth. Such a development will help take the virtual reality experience one step closer for being indistinguishable from reality, as many emphasize the concept would be like decades ago. I personally don't see the reason of doing this. Sight, sound, I don't see the reason of doing anything with this. A video from the future interface groups to describe as mouse-centric haptics upgrade. So they got videos. They got a video of this. So it says a Meta Quest 2 headset was allegedly modified to include an array of ultrasonic transducers that focused on the user's mouth region, adding in the extra layer of realism with additional sensors of hardware. Transducers can emulate the feeling of touch as well as the sensation of something brushing or sweeping across the lips by having them pulse in specific ways. In the provided video, the researchers provide plenty of examples as to how the technology can be used for the mouth, but it's suggested by some that the technology will eventually be used to emulate the function of kissing, which will no doubt be highly useful and coveted feature. I don't see the point of that, especially when it comes to games. But what the hell do I know? In other news, looks like we're going back on game tops. This is another collaboration. Hatsune Miku collaborates with Love Live Sunshine Idols in a new collab. So, the Love Live series has warmly welcomed Vocaloid Queen Hatsune Miku into its franchise for a special collaboration, specifically partnering with the idols from Love Live Sunshine to produce a song, and some might believe the collab to be several years too late in comparison to other idol groups. So, the idols of Akor singing alongside Hatsune Miku and PV for the Bonsai Digital Trippers. So you got your screenshots, you got your video, and you know whatnot, and you got your lyrics on the screen so you can sing along, karaoke and all that jazz. It looks good. 2D, 3D, all that. So it says the song composition and arrangement was handled by Vocaloid legend Michi M, and August 24th is when the Blu-ray disc and the DVD with the full song goes on sale. So, there's something to look forward to. That's something to look forward to, minus me also looking forward to in August getting my copy for my pre-ordered version of Afro Samurai 2. That's because I've been collecting a lot of Afro Samurai elements. I've got the anime movie, the anime series, even though unfortunately it's the Spike cut. I've got the video game for Xbox. I'm going to have the mangas, but I also want to buy some figures. But I digress. In other news, this has something to do with idol stuff as well. It's like with the Tifa Lockhart thing that happened in May. So I was probably early for that, but I'm probably going to be too late for this. The birthday of Idol Masters Sundar Sweetheart Manasseh Eri widely cherished. So it was her birthday apparently. She was a long-standing Idol Master, which rolls around the idols towards stardom, and hordes of worshippers have released artwork. So you got your artwork, your screenshots, your shrine photos, who is also voiced by apparently somebody named Kigumi Ray. In honor of her birthday, the fictional girl has been fondly remembered no matter how badly the mainstream entries perform. So the mainstream entries haven't been performing that well. The games haven't been performing that well. Full of submission for the highly loved Manasseh Ori emerged on social media expressing admiration for she's a rich girl. Apparently, so she's a rich girl. I did not know that. So you got tons of nice artwork and illustrations as usual, celebrating the birthday. Tons of it. There's tons of it. It's everywhere. But, that being said, it was her birthday, so I'm assuming it was her birthday. Let's see, what day is it? Because they didn't mention the article when her birthday was, so it must have been exactly the day this article was released. May 5th. Late, but probably news to you. In other news, though, news to me, news to you. Oh, this one's pretty good. It's about Nintendo. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 Italian voice actor potentially reveals new character. So, Lega Hyrule, an Italian Zelda fan community, had the opportunity to interview someone performing voice work on a highly anticipated, currently untitled The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. And the interview, a new character was suggested to appear along with an older character making a return. Prominent Italian actor Pietro Ubaldi, who played the role of Daruk from the first Breath of the Wild, revealed in the interview that he reprised his role for the sequel and provided the voices of Daruk's ancestors. So, it talks about, you said you voiced the ancestors of Daruk. So, Ubaldi said, yeah, well, whose name I don't remember, unfortunately, but it was a bit more serious, Daruk Moore. So it's pretty much hinting that it, from what it looks like, it says, legal Haro says Daruna, perhaps. So it says, says the interview and some background information about Pietro Ubaldi. They've got a video about it. It says fan speculation has led me to believe this ancestor Daruk could be the original champion from 10,000 years ago, who piloted the divine beast Rudania. This coincides with the belief that Link will be traversing an ancient Hyrule as well as more modern Hyrule, where he might run into Daruk as shown in the various locals from the trailer. And that's about it. You get to see some video about the interview, and you get to see a trailer for the Breath of the Wild sequel that everybody's talking about. So, in other news, this is not a mod, this is a fan game. The classic Super Mario RPG recreate using Unity engine. Now, before I start this is impressive. I like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo sends a cease and desist for this. So, the Square developed Super Mario Oh, damn, I did not know Square developed this game. Square developed the original one. Super Mario RPG, deemed a classic amongst older game enthusiasts, and Mario's first foray into the world of RPGs has been recreated partially using the Unity engine, and bound to have those experienced with the Unity engine wishing the Unreal engine were being used instead. Damn. That's fucked up. A clip from the creator that showcased the Mario's pad from the beginning of the game. Oh, man. Everybody acts like Unity. Oh, the graphics aren't that realistic. It's so hard to code. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with learning? Man. Unity, man. Y'all don't understand. We've used the fucking Unreal engine. You gotta pay and everything to fucking use their engine and everything. You gotta mention that. Oh, this was developed with Unreal engine. Some people don't want to do that. Use of Unity, you know, people in the community upgrading and everything. It's a great experience. So it says the 1996 Super Mario Nintendo title cover art was also recreated by the individuals, with the top image being the original art and the bottom being the recreation. So they show the top art, the bottom art. The project creator expressed no interest in fully remaking the fondly remembered game, which might be a good decision considering Nintendo's rampant desire to destroy any and all fan-made projects with DMCAs. As I said before I even read this article, I know I've seen Nintendo get rid of tons of great looking fan games. Like one of my favorite ones was the Metroid game that was being done on the fan game in first person view that was going to be done on the Doom engine. It looked so good. But outside that, in the last bit of news we're going to talk about, it's an adult oriented thing. Tamiya RPG X involving in elegance with new party dress. So, the gacha game, Tamiya RPG X, has pushed out another set of sultry skins to collect in the theme. This time it's party dress, making a bunch of the games Tamiya look quite proper and sophisticated before doing certain things, turn the clothes off. So, getting them all nice and turn them off. In the certain scenarios, the pretty new dresses and their they show you get in this article, you get to see what it looks like, and then you can see the nude alternatives, yada yada. The illustrations are very nicely done. Screenshots of the new story event. So it's an event. You get to see all the illustrations, the events when you're talking to all the games. And overall, it looks great. It's a gacha game. What else can I say about it? You get to go in, collect. It's an event. It's the one of the events going on right now. Outside of that, that will be the end of the news that I have managed to aggregate a collection of today. Thank you for your time, and goodbye. Goodbye until next time.